What's going on, everybody? It's Pelfrey, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Santa Monica RAIN2 Algae Turf Scrubber. This scrubber is very unique. The LEDs are waterproof and is an upflow, I suppose that's how you would call this, because the water comes from the bottom of the tray, gets pumped up to a 90, and then trickles down the stream from the screen from there. The lights are very, very bright, and you can buy this in multiple formats. You can buy it with one light or up to 4 lights, and it comes with separate plugs, so you can run as many lights as you need. And how this thing works, you would start off with one light, let the screen build up the algae, and then move on to more lights as you need. So you could run one light on each side or 2 lights on the same side, but you would start off with one light and then move your way around from there. And these lights are sold separately on Santa Monica's website, so you could build your own turf scrubber and still utilize the Gem 5 lights, and they are 100% waterproof, so that is very good. You don't have to worry about shielding the lights, and this thing has a small footprint, as you can already see. Now, I was lucky enough to find this on one of the forums. It is a used unit. Everything works as it should, and by me buying it used, I was able to save quite a bit of money. These turf scrubbers, they are pretty expensive, but in the long run, and what they can do for your tank is almost priceless. A lot of people actually run scrubbers instead of even skimmers in their systems. That's how well these things tend to work. And they're not really sized for water volume or tank size. They're sized by how much you feed the tank. And I would have to look, I can't confirm this because I can't remember from the website, but this particular scrubber I think is good for up to 2 frozen cubes per day, which is a lot. And by design, these things are set up to stand on a pole mount. So you can configure this thing multiple ways. There is a video made by Santa Monica that would probably better give you the explanation that you need. I went back and forth on how I was going to mount this. Ultimately, I chose a pole mount, and the bottom of the plate actually has a opening for 2-inch PVC to feed the scrubber, and that 2-inch PVC will give this the platform it needs to stand up in the tank. And you can actually 100% submerge this scrubber, so you can put it right at your water volume or water level in your sump, and if your return pump cuts off and the water raises to halfway up this scrubber, it is not going to hurt it by any means. I just installed a bulkhead, and that bulkhead does a couple things. It allows you to extend the output of the water. That will reduce splashing and bubbles going back into the sump. And this is, should make a note here, this is a made for sump only. This is not made for external installation. Now, it does have a tray, and it will hold a little bit of water, but I would not install this outside of a sump or some other container that is going to contain water if the tray did ever overflow. You can see here some of the fittings that it come with for soft tubing applications if you want to figure out a new way to mount the scrubber in your sump. So right out of the box, this thing comes with, it gives you multiple options so that you can get it to work for your system. And of course, we kind of joke around about this. It looks like a mailbox, but it does come with a lid, which makes pulling the screen off of the scrubber seamless. Now, I am working with a small footprint as far as my sump, so I needed to figure out the best way to mount the scrubber. And I thought about mounting it over top of the filter socks. And the reason why I didn't do that is because I would have to feed the water that comes directly from the tank. And I would really like to get this thing installed after the filter socks. That way the water going into the MJ1200 has been filtered a little bit, and it will reduce the maintenance time and or the wear and tear on the pump. But this actually did fit over top of the filter socks pretty well. I was surprised, and it could be a viable option as far as placement inside of the Red Sea Reefer 250 by all means. The installation of the Gem 5 lights is, once again, very, very easy to do. There actually are some markings inside of the lid, and all you have to do is take some aquarium-safe silicone, add some silicone to the lights. You could run the silicone across there and or just dab it on. It doesn't take a lot of silicone, and the good thing is I did have to remove a couple of the lights just to reconfigure them, and it was very easy to pull off of there because you're basically silicone and plastic to plastic, and it doesn't create the best bond in the world, but for this application it definitely holds the lights there perfectly. So I just added some aquarium safe silicone once again. I got it in place, and then what I did was I took a weight, a 5-pound weight, placed it over top of the lights just to hold it in place, that way that they do get a good bond. And I let the silicone cure for about a week or so. Probably a little overboard, but I'd rather go a little overboard than risk creating any more problems for myself. And I was generous with the silicone, you can see there. Just wanted to make sure that they were going to be in the lid, and wasn't going to have to worry about taking it back out and letting the silicone cure again. If you don't have the lid on the screen with the lights on running on a schedule, of course you're not going to grow any algae. So I did say I used a 5-pound weight a second ago. I'm sorry, I used a 2.5-pound weight. It was plenty heavy enough to hold the lights down without doing any damage or crushing it. There are multiple ways of actually mounting this algae scrubber. I chose to get 2 1/4-inch pieces of acrylic off of eBay. The acrylic came in just perfect. The sides, I think one of the sides was polished, and for what I'm using it for, the polishing was not needed. I didn't really care about that. And all I did was take some super glue, and I super glued one panel generously. I tend to go a little overboard whenever it comes to this part of a project, only because I want to do it and get it done, and I don't want to have to redo this and have to order new parts. And as far as this part of the project goes, it's very, very easy. I think this is a 5-inch by 8-inch piece of acrylic, 2 pieces, and once again, generous with the super glue. Didn't have a lot of super glue left over, so I just decided to squeeze the crap out of the tube and use whatever was in there for this project. And the goal here is to sandwich the 2 pieces of acrylic together, and again I'll use a weight on top of it, and I'll let it set for 24 hours or 48 hours just to let it get a good bond. Nothing really scientific going on here. Alright, so on the RAIN2, you can see here that at one point tried to glue on some legs, and excuse the camera movement there, but I was going to try to mount the RAIN2 that way, and then I planned on running it off my return pump on a manifold. And to be honest with you, I've been working on this project for like 4 or 5 months now. Well, I wouldn't say I've been working on it. It's just kind of been there for that long. After speaking to some YouTubers, I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and just make a mount for it, make a stand, and run it off its own pump. So what we have here is 2 pieces of 1/4-inch acrylic that I super glued together. You can see kind of the blotchiness there or whatever. Super glued it together, it's not going anywhere. I have a 2-inch tabletop cap that is super glued down as well. The way that this is going to work, excuse the line that isn't cut straight. So the way that this is going to work is this is going to sit in this manner. This is going to sit in this manner here. So you can see that it's a tabletop platform now. This 1/2-inch threaded to 1/2-inch, I guess it's a slip for the sake of this conversation, will fit there. I have an elbow, I have some 1/2-inch line, a valve to control the flow, and an MJ1200. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that. I'll catch you back up whenever I get to the point of getting it back into the tank. So you can see here I have the scrubber pretty well ready to go. So once again, 2 pieces of 1/4-inch acrylic, 2-inch tabletop piece of PVC, 2-inch PVC, 2-inch PVC by 1/2-inch threaded adapter for the Murloc line, a valve to control the flow, and then it goes into a 90 down to MJ1200. So this is going to pump water here. The flow will be controlled here. The water will come up. This is all open right here. The water will come up, go through this 90, and then trickle down the screen there. And as you can see here, I have 3 lights installed here. I'll be using one in the beginning and then we'll just kind of go from there. This is what the RAIN2 looks like installed of the sump of the Red Sea Reefer 250. You can see I got the base plate, the tabletop fitting, the 2-inch PVC, and the T going to the MJ 1200. None of these fittings, the 2-inch fittings, are glued together, and it fits quite well. Now it's worth mentioning that I have not started the scrubber up. I'm going to test my nitrates and phosphates before I start the scrubber up, and then I'm just going to continuously test after that, just to gauge what the scrubber is actually doing. So here pretty soon I'll do another update video on the progress, and I'll track the progress of the RAIN2 algae turf scrubber by Santa Monica. As always, I appreciate your watching. Comments, suggestions, tips, tricks. You know how I usually end my videos. Love to hear anything that you have to say. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you got any content and I haven't seen it yet, please let me know. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.